The New Orleans Saints bolstered their secondary on Monday night, signing Lonnie Johnson Jr. to a one-year deal. Let's talk about the move, the potential fit, what this means for the secondary. Talk about it right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
What is up, Who Dat Nation? Chris Vogel here of the Straight Up Saints podcast. We're going to keep it pretty quick for tonight. It comes out from Jordan Schultz of The Score that Lonnie Johnson Jr. signing a one-year deal with the Saints. Mentioned how in 7 starts with the Texans in 2021, he had 3 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, also added 38 solo tackles. That was his most prolific year. So he spent 3 years in Houston, put up some decent numbers. The 2021 season's obviously the standout year for Lonnie Johnson Jr. And then in 2022 goes to the Tennessee Titans. Not much of an impact there in terms of on defense. Didn't really get the chance to shine. Now, you might be thinking, is this a good move? Is this a bad move? What does it mean? I think it's one of those kind of wait and see type of moves where it's 1 year, doesn't really, break the bank in essence for the New Orleans Saints. Now, there were multiple teams interested in Lonnie Johnson, and I think that's also a good sign of the fact that teams do covet his versatility. He could play cornerback, can play at the safety position. I think for New Orleans, when you think of what does this mean? Why would you bring him in? What's the fit? I think you're maybe looking at adding that kind of versatile chess piece to Dennis Allen's defense. Kind of think of what they've seen in years past with PJ Williams, seen with Justin Evans. I would think it's more towards the Justin Evans replacement. He just signed with the Eagles. That's where I kind of lean at the moment. But look, the Saints have not signed PJ Williams yet. I always joke about them signing him to one-year contracts. Maybe that happens again. And I think the Saints should, because I think this secondary, albeit talented, you can never have enough talented DBs. And the reason I say that is you look around the NFL when people put an emphasis on wide receivers, who's going to stop those wide receivers? The DBs. So I think for New Orleans, you still go back and get PJ Williams if you can. Don't expect it to be cost effective. But look, Lonnie is a younger player. I think that's good for the Saints. I always thought the secondary needed to get a little bit younger. They're definitely going to do that in that regard with Lonnie and adding him there. I don't think this is one of those moves that, in the grand scheme of things in this offseason, it's probably towards the lower end, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the Saints do most of their best work with versatile DBs like Lonnie, and I'm excited to see what the plan is. It might not be the biggest role in the world, but you do know that he can play safety. I think if you're New Orleans, you probably saw something in that 2021 tape that you said, okay, we can work with that. And I'm excited to see how that unfolds. We'll see in camp. But with Tyrann Mathieu, Marcus May at safety, that's a little bit of an older duo. Now, I think Tyrann Mathieu played well, and Marcus May kind of has off-the-field concerns that he has to figure out. And I think for New Orleans, because of those two kind of elements, you're cool with them making this move. At least I am. Now, I'll have to admittedly go watch a little bit more of Lonnie Johnson to kind of get a good feel as to how I would want to grade this move, where it is on the excitement level. But look, one-year deal, can't complain about that. Can't complain about the versatility. Can't complain about the youth. Those are all things the Saints needed to do. And I think this defense actually did need to get younger, and I'm definitely fine with that. So Lonnie Johnson Jr. to the New Orleans Saints, one-year contract. We'll see what happens with him. He'll probably get introduced later this week officially as a member of the Saints, but that's going to do it right here from the Straight Up Saints podcast. Make sure to subscribe to Boot Krewe Media's YouTube page for more content like this. For when the Saints make signings, draft picks, whatever it may be, we'll have you covered right here, the destination for the Who Dat Nation.